protection part we were doing, right?
Ma'am, we wrote until drip irrigation.
Yeah, you have written drip irrigation. I have explained you weeds, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Weeds are unwanted plants. Now you consider that is if the farmer has grown sugar crops and in between that wheat crop is growing, then can we consider wheat as a can we consider wheat as a weed?
No, ma'am.
The farmer is planning for sugar crops. He has sown sugar crops, right? And in between the sugar crops, wheats are growing somewhere in between, not in a bulk, in some number, somewhere there, the along with the sugar crops, some wheat crops are growing. Do we consider those wheat crops as weeds?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we have to consider because he is planning for sugar, and there are some due to maybe the earlier season he has taken the wheat crops, and maybe some leftover roots were there. So those roots are regrown again. So from that less number of wheats, he is not getting anything. He cannot use it. He cannot do the processing of that wheat crops there. So therefore, that will become unwanted. Although wheat is useful, but that wheat is very less in number, so will not be useful for the farmers. He cannot get many grains from that. So to take out the grain, again he has to do many processes. So it will be difficult for him to get anything from that wheat crop. So that wheat crop will become weed in that sugar crop. And if he is planning for, he has sown wheat crop, and in between the wheat crops, if sugar cane is growing, then
Ma'am,
And
sugar
also
cane
it's
will be a
considered as
yeah, sugar cane will
weeds.
become a weed there. Then he has to uproot it out. Clear? So he has to remove those sugarcane crops. Is it right?
yes, ma'am.
So weeds need to be removed because they are competing with the main crops for the space, sunlight, and as well as for nutrients also. So therefore we need to remove it. The methods of removal by spraying weedicides. He is spraying weedicides there. So they will kill the weeds only. That's different grasses. Weeds are actually the different grasses are growing on the crops. They are the useless grasses are there. So here in a house also, if you are plotting any plants, potted a plant there, growing a pot, and in that some grasses are generally grown. If you have carefully seen, many grasses are coming and growing there. Those are the seed due to different seed dispersal that is happening. So that grasses can be removed by spraying some chemicals. Those chemicals we call as weedicides. And well-known weedicide name is 2,4-D. It can be removed manually, one way. Second way, at the time of plowing, it is very carefully all the crops of earlier season has to be uprooted. So that means the farmer has to ensure that is there are no roots left over in that crop. Otherwise, that root again will start growing into a plant. Okay, so these are the methods of removing weeds. If there is a pest, insecticides, herbicides, fungicides has to be sprayed time to time on the crops to remove all those pests. So this way the protection is important. Protection from weeds and protection from different insects is important. Then only the plant will be healthy. Otherwise the plant will not be healthy due to this hindrance. These weeds and the insects are hindrance for the growth. So the plants will get damaged due to this process. Clear? So write down about the protection of weeds. So what are weeds and how to remove them? Completed?
I'm completed. Ma'am,
Yes.
done.
Okay. Fine. Everyone completed?
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Do it faster.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, done.
Okay. So next part, now protection has been done. Now the time is to remove them. Take out the useful parts of the plants. That will come under the harvesting process. So it will come under the process of harvesting. So now the plants has been sown. First step is we have sown. Second step is we have given its nutrient. Third part, we have protected it. Now fourth part, when they are mature, they have to be removed. The plants are removed from the soil, and the important products from them has to be taken out. So important products are mostly grains, maybe some of the stem. If it is a vegetables, then the different fruits we will get it. Roots, root part. Some of the plants' root we have to take out. Some of the plants' stem has to be taken for the selling them into the market. So for that, the grains has to be separated. So the process by which it is done, that process by which the separation, mature plants have been, mature crops are cutting off the mature crops, mature crop is called as, the process of this cutting, separating is called as harvesting. Harvesting is the last step. That's one more is left out, that is a storage. So when the crop grown to its maturity, that means it started bearing the required part. That means mostly it is a grains. So when it will start bearing a grain, at that time it will become mature. So that time the farmers remove those crops, that means cut those crops, and that method is, that process is called as harvesting. And then the second one is threshing, we call as a threshing. So threshing means what? The grains has to be separated from its chaff. So that is the removal of the grains. The generally grains are present inside the combs. So comb like structures are there. Cobs are present. So many wheat has a cobs. So from that cob, from the crop, this one has to be separated. So first grain has to be separated, and then from on that grain there are the layer is present. So that is called a chaff. So that chaff has to be separated from the grains, has to be separated from that outer covering. Just like a rice, when you see the raw rice, it is brown in color. It has one cover, outer covering is there. So that outer covering has to be removed. Are you able to understand what I'm trying to tell you? What exactly removing has to be done? What is chaff means?
Yes, ma'am.
So here the grains which the plants bear, that grains will not be direct what we eat. The rice, whatever we take. So that is the inner part. So it has the outer covering, the brown color covering it has. Even wheats also, some cream color covering it has outside the wheat grains. So all of them has to be first separated. Then that upper layer has to be removed. That is called as by harvester, that can be done. Harvester cutting and then removing is done. Threshing process is there. By that way, the outer covering has been removed by somewhat crushing them. And then it is separation of that outer covering from the grain is done by the process called as threshing or winnowing. Both are the same method, difference is winnowing is done in a smaller scale if it is done by manually and at a smaller scale. So that is, you might have seen the any person is standing, it has in their hands the this one grains are present, and the wind is blowing in the direction of wind. They have started releasing it. The grains have been released from the height. Have you seen that? So due to that, what happened, the grains are heavier, they settle down, and the shaft, the outer covering, those are lighter. With the help of wind, those will be blown away. Have you seen that process? That process is called as winnowing process. Maybe I will show you this process. Winnowing process, the manual separation of the grains and shaft. One second. So here it is. Are you able to see this? Have you seen this process?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so here the lady is standing on the high. With the help of somewhere high here, she has to stand, and then from that she has to release the grains. So what are the lighter particles? The outer covering is a lighter, that is we call a shaft. So those will be moved away and the grains will settle down here. So grains, and this is a shaft. So this can be separated. So this is done manually at a smaller scale. So therefore this is called as winnowing process. And if it's the same thing is done by the this one machines, so that process is called as threshing. Clear? So if it is done with the help of, this is a harvester, is a big structure, big this one like a truck like structure. Backside of this is a harvester is present. It will remove the crops from the soil. So removing of the crop is done by the harvesting. So this is a harvester. So harvesting means the removing, cutting the crops from the soil when it matures. So that process is called as harvesting. It can be done manually with the help of sickle. These are the sickle process. We can cut it manually, one by one crops can be cut out. Or it is also done by the machine called harvester, or also called as combine. The combiner will do the work of harvester as well as thresher, both together. Threshing is a process of separating the grains from the chaff. That is, outer covering has been separated from the grains. That is done by the process called as threshing or winnowing process. The harvested crop, the grains are separated from the chaff by the process of winnowing or threshing. It's clear. Harvesting means cutting. Harvesting festivals, many harvesting festivals are celebrated in India. So you might be knowing Baisakhi and Pongal and Sankranti. At the time of mainly harvesting, this one seasons are there. So that time harvesting is done. That means this crops has been separated from the soil. That means they have cut out. Now after that, the process starts of separation of those grains. Now those grains separated and then sold into the market after particular proper drying process. So properly they have to be stored, and then only they are sold in the market, and then only the farmer will get the money from that, or we will get the food of it. It's clear. So that is the end process. Storage process is important, and after that it is the ending process. That is the last process. So harvesting clear. What do you mean by harvesting? Threshing means, yes, do you, are
Yes, ma'am.
you
Yes,
able
ma'am.
to understand the process of harvesting and threshing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so then write down this. No, and the last one is storage process. So storage means what happens in storage after these grains have been separated. This has to be stored properly before selling into the market. It has to be stored for some duration. Just like if you say some of the storage duration is 1 month, some of them has to be stored for 2 months, and some of them needs to be stored 1 year before selling into the market. Just like our rice. So rice is not immediately sown into this one, taken out, grains have been separated and sold into the market, cannot be done because that rice will not be useful. So whatever the rice we are getting at home, it is generally dried for longer duration. So it will take directly from the maturity, will not get into the market. So it need minimum 6 months of duration has to be stored. It should be older one. So older the rice, more the price. If the rice is much older, the rice price will be more. So that means properly dried. So that process is drying out. We are not keeping it for longer duration. Before selling into the market, it is properly processed. So it is properly dried up. So its age is increased by that way. So therefore it has to be minimum 6 months duration. The rice has to be older. So then only it is used up for the proper consumption. Otherwise it will not be. If you make a rice, eatable rice from that rice grains, it will be completely watery. It will not be properly cooked. It will not get cooked properly. It is not taste also, it will not be that much as the normal ones. So it should be taken up. So for that much duration, 6 month duration to 1 year duration, maybe it is stored for 1.5 years also. Some of the time, some of the rice has been stored. So that for that thing, we have to take a precaution for 1 year. If your anything is stored, so much more precaution has to be taken at the time of storing of this. So whenever we store grains, first thing we have to take into consideration, that is it should be properly dried. So drying process is very, very important. So for proper drying, it is dried in the sun first. Sun drying is very important. First, it should be sun dried. So all the moisture is removed, as well as it will not, if it is properly dried, then the microorganisms will not attack the seeds. And then again, it is dried in the shade also. So 2 times it is dried. It is sun dried also, and it is dried in the shade. So that has to be done to maintain the moisture also. So we have to maintain the amount of moisture in that seed, as well as the some outer moisture has to be removed. So sun drying has to be done. When it is dried, it should be properly stored. So it is dried. After drying, it has to be stored. So it is properly dried in the jute bags, not in the plastic bags. It should not be stored. It is always stored in the jute bags, and otherwise it is in a metallic bins. It has to be stored. So it is in a metallic bins. The huge metallic bins are present in that. So it is the large scale storage can be done in silos or granaries. So these are the examples of silos and granaries. So these are the large scale production. This is in a metallic cans it is stored. So that we call as silos. And this is a granaries. At shorter scale, it can be done. And so these are the containers has to be stored in which grains have been stored. These are called granaries and silos. So these are built such a way that it's to store this one, to protect them from microorganism attack, as well as from rodents like rats and insect. It has to be stored. It has to be protected from these pests. Even the microorganisms, even the moisture also. If moisture there should not be any inlet of any moisture content. So we have to store them in a moisture proof containers. So these all are we are using so that the grains will be protected from the microorganisms, as well as if these are called as biotic factors. Microorganisms, rats, rodents, birds, insects, from which we have to protect the grains. So those are the biotic factors. Okay. So these have been silos and granaries are built up for the large scale storage. So one single person can use one granary, or maybe in a village, one single granary has been built where every person of that village is going and storing. So one granary is there, a large, big, this one are there, storage areas are there where these granaries has been built up by the government, and there the people store their food, their grains has been stored there. So this way the storage is very important. And why it is a storage, the precaution has to be taken at the time of storage, or why we have to give more importance to the storage, because if it is not properly stored, if there is any moisture left out in the content or in the grains, or maybe it is left open, or that area where you are storing, if it is not clean, dried, then these pests will attack the grains and will eat out all the grains, will damage the grains. Then if one of the part of that grain get damaged, then the remaining parts are also will not be acceptable in the market. So there will be a huge loss to the farmer has to face. So therefore, the storage is a very important part. If after this one production also, if the storage is not done properly, that is the last part. But if that is not done properly, so all the efforts of all 4 to 5 months, whatever the farmer has taken, will go in vain. It's clear. Is this point clear?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
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 Yeah. So this is the end of all 7 processes that has to be conducted while production of grains, production of food. Okay. So write down these 2 points. So we left off with harvesting and then the last storage process.
Ma'am, done.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, done.
Good. And it is also whenever we are storing the grains into the storage units, so wherever the granaries or silos, the time to time fumigation has to be done. Fumigation, that means the chemicals has to be added, spread over those stored areas, and in that area, the area where it is stored, so that no microorganisms attack that area. Microorganisms will not attack the area. For that it is done.
Ma'am, done.
Done, everyone? Completed?
Yes, ma'am.
Now these are the methods, processes has to be performed by the farmers to get the crops. We get the crops only when we these are the steps the farmer has to follow for getting the grains from getting the output from the field farm. So all these steps he has to follow. Now he can improve for the better management. He can do the more better management. That means he can improve these techniques by some of the different factors so that he will get more output from the farm. That means economical more output, maybe the more amount of grains he can do. Maybe he can work on the factors there where he can investment, he can decrease. So for that factor, he has to always keep on thinking. That is how I can minimize my effort and will get the better output. So for that, there are some improvement techniques are there. So what improvement techniques he has to follow? We will now see those. So improvement, where we need the more improvement. These are the straightforward methods the farmer has to follow. Now in this one, what improvements he can do to get the better yield, that is output, by making the lesser investment. So what are the things can be changed, which changes can be done? What are the changes can be done? Anything? In all the steps now you got to know. So what are the things will be followed by the this one? Farmers. First step is, what are the 7 steps he has to follow for cropping? So what is the first step?
Preparation of soil.
Preparation of soil.
Preparation of a soil, that is loosening of the soil, tilling process we call it as. Second one,
Sowing.
sowing of the seeds. Sowing of the seeds we has to be done. And third step,
Irrigation.
And fertilizer.
nutrient
Adding
provide
manure and fertilizer.
provision of nutrients, that is by adding manures and fertilizers. And then irrigation process. Irrigation process, watering the plant supplying the water at regular intervals. That is, and then after that, next step is
Protection
from weeds and pests. And then next one,
harvesting.
harvesting. Finally, and then
Storage.
storing process. Now these are the straightforward methods. What are the changes he can make it for investing less and getting output more? Anyone, one by one methods can you recall? Preparation of a soil, we cannot do anything. That has to be done every time. There is no any change can be done.
We can add manure instead of fertilizers.
And yes, right. We can add manures instead of fertilizers, because manures will keep on the soil fertility. They will not decrease the soil fertility. And that manure are cheaper and can be prepared in the farm itself. And by the organic waste it is created. So there is no investment.
For irrigation, we can follow drip irrigation.
Very good.
It saves water.
Yeah. To save water, wherever there is a water scarce areas are there the farmers can go for sprinklers or drip irrigation method. So they can save water. Yes, that can be done. Then any other? Instead of spraying weedicides, if they take care of at the time of plowing, if the weeds has been taken care at the time of plowing, then the no need of spraying weedicides, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Then any other? Selection of the seeds. Selection of the seeds. There also, if he has taken care, the good quality seeds, if he has taken, then better output he will get. And as well as to make those better qualities, he can improve. Since there is a improvement area is there in the quality of seeds. So if any seed variety is not, it do not have all the desired characters, that means whatever the desired characters are needed in that plant, if that one particular seed is not present, so the scientists have started working on it and start making it more and more good. That is inserting more and more good characters in the one single crop. So suppose what happened, different varieties are there. Just like if you see the rose, this flowers also, if you see, some flowers are big in size, some flowers are small in size, Another thing is this big in size, bright colors they have. The another one small in size they are in small in size, but they are coming in large numbers. There are two different characteristics are there. So those flowers are small in size. If you see the button roses, they are small in size, but the number of roses at a time blooming are a simple example I'm giving you. That is a simple rose plant if you take it. At that time, there are different varieties. If you go to the nursery, you will see many different varieties of the roses. There
Yes,
are
ma'am.
mainly two varieties. If you watch it very carefully, you will see some of them are very small, this much small, which we generally use it in puja also if your parents are buying it. Very small size. And some of them which we get it for bouquet purpose. What is the size of those?
Big.
They are big size, this much size. The height is somewhat this much size. They are also the petals of that. If you check out, what is the petal? Thicker one, big petals and thicker ones.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and then if you bring that bouquet, if you have taken that bouquet, have you seen there's duration, durability? So how many days they are fresh? Those bigger flowers, how many days they are fresh?
2 to 3 days.
2 to 3 days. And the smaller ones,
Have more time. 6 to 7 days.
6 to 7 days. They are good in condition.
A day.
Bigger ones are generally 4 to 5 days, not 2 to 3 days. 4 to 5 days they can be easily say as it is fresh. The smaller ones are mostly generally 2 days or 3 days maximum, not more than 2 to 3 days. So this is the characteristics are there. Two of them has different characteristic. So now there is a changes has been done. Now those bigger ones are actually not the natural ones. Natural means they are not natural means they have been actually changed varieties. Those have been changed by scientists. So many botanists have started working on that, and they have altered some things. Some changes has been done in the varieties. They have purchased, those varieties have been purchased from the outside and then started growing in the India. So that time we got to know that is these varieties are also available, and there are many changes also has been done. So to get the desired characteristics all in one crop, one plant itself. So one rose itself, we are getting the different varieties. Have you seen naturally a black rose? Have you seen a natural black rose?
No, ma'am.
But it is available. Blue rose,
No, ma'am.
and then it is the upper color, upper petal color is different and the lower petal colors are different. Have you seen?
Yes, ma'am.
Petal color, upper part is red and below part is white. Have you seen that?
I've seen pink and purple.
Pink and purple you have seen. Okay, so these are all done. This is done by different processes. They are not naturally occurring. Those have been genes of those plants, or maybe the different things in that plant has been changed by the botanist. They have changed it. So this is done, and due to that, what happened now? Those flowers, if anyone go and buy in the market, will they give us at a normal cost?
No, ma'am.
Their cost is different.
Yes, ma'am.
It's very high cost they have. When we purchase it in the nursery also, if you purchase a small, this a regular plant, it may be cost near about 50 to 100 rupees maximum. And if this varieties, if you go and try to purchase it, they will be giving us for 500, 600 as well. Because these are unique ones. So due to unique nature, the improvement has been done. So therefore, a small, simple rose plant got the how much? 5 times extra cost the farmer will get. So in the same field, if any one farmer is growing the normal rose crops, rose is also a crop because it has a commercial value. When it is sold in the market, he will get the this money from it. So that is also considered as a crop. Clear? So don't consider rose crops means only the food eatable parts. No, these are also crops. These flower plants are also considered as a crops. So whichever the crop will have the commercial value. Commercial means what? They can be sold into those output can be sold into the market and will get the money from that. Can be the economical condition of the farmer will be improved by that. All those things we consider under crops. So there are fruit crops are also there, vegetable crops are also there, then these flower crops are also will come under those. So in this flower, if anything, any one, this one, the same farmer, if he is growing two different, he has divided field into two parts. One field he is doing the regular, growing the regular roses, and the second field he is growing those, this one, the new varieties of roses. From which one he will get more money?
The new
variety.
The new varieties. Why? Because those have been improved and those are unique. These have the different characteristics because they are unique, they are durable, they are more durable than the normal ones. So they can be stored for 4 to 5 days. They are very fresh. So while taking out from the farm, reaching to the customer, the time duration is more. So that, and they remain fresh in that much thing. So the farmers has done improvement in choosing the varieties, then he can gain more output from that. So there has to be done some improvements in the regular methods to get more and more outcome for that, from that one. So that is important. So that different variety, that different methods we have to go through. So some of the books it is given. So different improvement techniques, what has to be followed, that has to be done. Okay. What happened? Something had changed. Wait a second. One second. Okay. So these are the different methods. So what, in which area the improvement is needed? So we can do the use of improved seeds or crops developed by plant breeding. So plant breeding, that means this is the different methods by which we can breed different types of varieties. There are many methods to be used for breeding. So that is generally reproduction part. At the time of reproduction, this has been done. So that's what happened. The two plants, we need the two different plants, have some, this two plants are there, some useful characteristics are present in the first crop, and the second crop has some useful characteristics. So all the characteristics we need in a one single crop. So what has been done at the time of reproduction, what they do, scientists, what they do is a flower of this plant, they try intentionally, they start reproducing with the flower of this crop. Are you able to understand? Reproduction, do you know? In class 7, you have learned reproduction process.
yes, ma'am.
So what happens in that? The pollens from one flower, they has to be transferred into the pollen stigma of the another flower. Then the reproduction is done. That means the seed formation takes place. So at the time of seed formation, the scientists only, botanists only select the pollens which has to fuse with the stigma of another flower. So they will select two flowers and they will cross them. So that process is called as cross breeding, and intentionally that has been done with the help of, with the humans are agents in that one. They are intentionally transfer the pollens of one flower to the stigma of another flower. And due to that, the two characteristics mix together. Two characteristics of two different flowers mixing together, the seed formed will have characteristics from both the plants. Now those seeds, now here new variety of a seeds we have formed with the two different characteristics has been infused into the one single one. So such seeds will have, means, properties of both the plants. This is also, and this one plant's characteristics that seed have. Now those seeds will start growing further. So then that particular this plant, now this is a third plant we got. Now this third plant also will have more seeds. So those have been sown. Further, it is done for 2-3 generation to accumulate such seeds, and those seeds have been sold into the market. Now those seeds have been improved varieties. Why it is improved? Because many characteristics, many required characteristics are mixed into that seed. So this way, whatever the characteristic we need into a one particular seed, we can transfer and make a good quality a single seed. Are you able to understand this part?
Ma'am, I didn't understand the seed part.
So new varieties of a seed has to be formed. Now what happens? Suppose botanists wants 2 different characteristics should be infused into the one single thing. That means the 2 roses I have told you. One rose has a durability, color is very good. They are alive fresh for 6 to 7 days. And the second one, but they are, whenever they are growing on the this one plant, only 1 or 2 this one are coming, roses are growing. Now what is the problem there in that plant? What is the problem? If the big roses, the farmer has sown that rose crop, and but here it is, everything is good, its color is very good, they are durable, they are big in size, everything is good. There is a one problem, that is on the single crop there are at a time only 3 to 4 the roses are growing. This is a one problem. Now another, the local varieties are there, that is a smaller sized. They are small in size. Problem is they are small in size. They are not that much durable, but they have a one good quality. What is that?
They are large in number when they are grown.
When they are grown, they are always grown in multiples. That means in a 10, 15 flowers also you can see it at a time. So after that, what they will do? One good quality this one has, the smaller size flower has, and other good qualities the larger size roses have. So what they do, the scientists will start working on this. How can we do that one? So what they do is they take these 2 plants, one plant which have the smaller flowers but large in numbers, more in numbers. Second one is the bigger size flowers but less in number. So those 2 crops, they reproduce them intentionally. So one flower's pollens, they will transfer to the second flower for the reproduction process. So due to that, what will happen? Due to that, what will happen? The new seeds, yes?
We'll get a flower of both varieties. Like,
yeah, some of the seeds have been grown in this process. So there may be the characteristics of both the plants are present. So we will get the variety of some of the seeds of them carries the varieties of both of them. So the new variety has been formed here. So which can have larger size roses, and they can grow in more number also. So this way, the new varieties have been formed. This process is called as hybridization. This method of obtaining new varieties of the crops for betterment. So better variety we have created, botanists or the scientists have been created. So this process is called as hybridization process. So we can do hybridization to get the improved qualities in the seeds. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you able to understand, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
So improvement can be done in this way also. Okay, so this way we have increased the quality by hybridization process. So hybridization, it is written here, the method of crossing 2 or more varieties of the plants having desired genes. So the desired characteristics, qualities they have. So we have crossed them. So that is, a new crop has been formed which have both the qualities in a one single plant. It's clear? So this hybridized plant have qualities of both the parents. This is done to improve seed variety, and as well as sometimes it is done for the getting disease resistant plants. Some of the plants are very prone to diseases, so that can be removed as well. So those plants, immunity of them, so in a simple words we can tell that is immunity of that plant has been increased. Clear? Okay, so this way we can do improvement in this area, that is the seeds or crops varieties can be improved by hybridization process. Second one, improve in the soil fertility by using fertilizers. Fertilizers, that is a organic fertilizers, that is manures. Protection of a plants from pests by using pesticides. When the pesticides has been spread, so earlier time the people were not knowing about the pesticides. Before green revolution has taken place, the people were not knowing about the pesticides. So therefore, if any plant is attacked by pests, they are not able to do anything. So due to pesticides, revolution means when pesticides have been discovered, after that this problem has removed. So that is the we call as after green revolution, there is a much more changes has been done in agriculture. So that is due to the formation of fertilizers and the pesticides. Then control of plant disease, if we done, we can improve the amount of crop formed. Even the better storage facility, so that is the storage facility also, if it is improved, then the farmers can work out more easily and the production of the crop will be improved. Crop production, and indirectly the food amount of food we will get, and the farmer will get more money. Okay, so these improvement methods has to be taken into consideration. Hybridization and as well as cropping patterns, different cropping patterns also, if the farmers utilize, then he can do much more production of the crops will be improved to a large, as well as soil fertility also will be maintained. It's clear? Are you able to understand this part?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then this is about this one, and then one more part is there. Some of the book, nitrogen fixation, nitrogen cycle has been given in the first chapter. Some of the textbook it is given in the second chapter. So I will right now only I will explain it in this chapter only. We will do nitrogen cycle. Some of the books generally only in NCERT book it is given in the second chapter, and all other books it is given in the first chapter. So further we have to see the nitrogen cycle. Okay. The next we have to learn the nitrogen cycle.
Good evening, ma'am.
You have a class at 6 and it will start by 6:05.
Okay.
So nitrogen cycle, we have to learn this chapter. So nitrogen cycle. So actually what do you mean by a biological cycle? Cycle means here? Okay. So nitrogen cycle. So here nitrogen cycle means the recycling of the nitrogen. We know that is in atmosphere, there is a 70% of nitrogen is available. 78% of nitrogen is available. And the plants needs nitrogen. For different processes, the plant needs nitrogen. So we also needs nitrogen for many things. In our body, generally the DNAs are the basic units which are prepared from nitrogen. Then chromosomes in our body are made up of nitrogens. Many parts of the body of our body are made from the nitrogen. That is a protein actually, which we have used the word protein. So basic element needed for the preparation of protein is nitrogen. You have seen that is we need protein for many processes. Building our body, repairing our body, making our body healthy, we need protein. So that protein comes from plants. So protein is made from nitrogen. Protein is a compound of nitrogen. So nitrogen is very essential part. So for the preparation of this protein, plants prepare protein. So for preparation of protein, plants need nitrogen. Now the nitrogen can't die. They don't have any process by which plants take nitrogen by their own. So therefore the nitrogen directly, atmospheric nitrogen they cannot take. They can take by their own, but not the atmospheric nitrogen. They cannot absorb directly. Just like carbon dioxide they are taking directly, oxygen they are taking directly, water they can take up from the roots. With the help of roots they can take water directly, but the atmospheric nitrogen the plants are not able to absorb easily. So therefore the nitrogen has to be first converted into useful form, that is a water soluble compounds. It has to be converted, and then the atmospheric nitrogen first has to be converted into these water soluble compounds of nitrogen. Then plants will use those nitrogen, that nitrogen the plant will use and prepare the protein, and that protein we use it for our purpose. Now again, whatever we have taken or whatever the nitrogen the plants has taken by different methods, again it is transferred back to air, back atmosphere, back. So by this way we are using it, the plants are using it, we are using it, but again back we are giving it back, and that is the reason the amount of nitrogen in the air remains constant. Otherwise what would have happened? Otherwise what would have happened?
The decrease of nitrogen gas.
There is an amount of nitrogen gas have decreased, and it is actually have gone fully. It would have not been there. So this way the circulation of nitrogen takes place from atmosphere to plants to animals, and again it will come back to the atmosphere. This full process is called as nitrogen cycle. It's clear? What do you mean by nitrogen cycle?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is for clear. The nitrogen cycle means what is clear? This is a question of 5 marks. For every school, this question is asked for 5 marks. Therefore, you have to be very careful about this nitrogen cycle. Even in 9th also, you are learning the same thing. It's clear. So, nitrogen cycle means utilization of atmospheric nitrogen. It is intaken by plants. Then from plants, it will transfer to the animals. Then from animals, again, it will come back to atmosphere back. So this full circle has been followed. So that means here, from air, it is taken up by the plants. From plants, it will come to the animals. And animals and plants again transfer it back to the air. So this is a full cycle is followed. So this full cycle followed, this is called as nitrogen cycle. Utilizing and giving it back. So this process is called as nitrogen cycle. So in the nitrogen cycle, there are mainly 3 processes involved. First one is nitrogen fixation. Second one is done nitrogen assimilation. And the third one is done denitrification. So in the 3 steps, the process has been explained. Nitrogen cycle is explained by 3 methods, 3 steps. Nitrogen fixation, nitrogen assimilation, and the third one is denitrification. So nitrogen fixation is also called as nitrification. This process is also called as nitrification. So what is nitrogen fixation means? So nitrogen fixation, here in this process, atmospheric nitrogen is converted into water soluble nitrates, compounds of nitrogen. So directly plants cannot absorb direct nitrogen from the air. they don't have any process to take out nitrogen directly from the air. Carbon dioxide they can take with the help of stomata directly. The carbon dioxide enters. Oxygen also directly enter through the holes called stomata, but there is no process for nitrogen gas. So the nitrogen gas is converted to water soluble compounds of nitrates. So these compounds dissolved in water, in the soil it will reach first, then it will dissolve in water, and through the water, with the help of roots, along with the water, it will enter the plant. Inside the plant body, it will enter by this way. So this process is called as nitrogen fixation. So fixing the atmospheric nitrogen can be done by two different methods. So this can be done by two different methods. One is called atmospheric nitrogen fixation and the second one is called as biological nitrogen fixation. So there are two methods by which atmospheric nitrogen is converted into water soluble compounds of nitrogen. This process is nitrogen fixation. So one is called, so write the definition. First write the nitrogen cycle. Recycling of nitrogen from air to plants and animals and back to air is called nitrogen cycle. The first step in this is nitrogen fixation. The first step in this is called as nitrogen fixation. So in this one, nitrogen fixation, the process of, you write down along with me, the process of conversion of nitrogen, atmospheric nitrogen gas into water soluble compounds of nitrogen is called nitrogen fixation. Okay. This is done by two ways. The first way is atmospheric nitrogen fixation, and the second one is biological. Biological nitrogen fixation. Okay. So this process is, I will explain you next class. Clear? Okay, if you have done with this, you can leave.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.